Rick Rubin, I say him, Dan Soteria. He was a member of the Beastie Boys. He was a DJ Double R. I met him at Dan Soteria because Jazzy J brought him to me. Jazzy J was on the record, It's Yours. Tila Rock was the best record on the radio. We talked in Dan Soteria and he played me his drum machine. He had so many beats. We started a record label. Rick owned and created the label Def Jam, that was his. Rick owned and created the label Def Jam, that was his.
Anybody kill off, anybody skrill off, anybody out there know anybody real off, any motherfucker make
you may have to rewrite the third verse after this because you just took it, the whole song just went like this.
Rick ain't normal, I don't give a I know all producers have their idiosyncrasies, meaning, you know, quirks and weird. But he's just strange by strange standards. While we was downstairs doing hardcore rap records and upstairs he had a bunch of people having koala leaves and doing some type of Tibetan freedom concert planning. And when was the last time you seen a bison in a nigga's studio?
Next to the Johnny Cash reels.
Over 20 years into his career, dude ain't changed, he got his own vibe. I mean, it's Rick. You gotta love him for that. All these records I used to listen to, these guys are the creators of it, the architects of what we do right now. I'm just fortunate, man. You want to take this? Yeah, you ready? Yeah.
A super secret organization like the CIA is going to have secrets, but this sounded too bizarre to be true. Yet there it was, in print, in a respected newspaper. The accusation that the crack epidemic, which ravaged this country's cities, was spread with help from a secret army linked to the CIA.
Men who were working for the CIA's army were responsible for bringing all that cocaine into Los Angeles that sparked the crack epidemic.
Crack use spread like wildfire in the early 1980s. And in Los Angeles, a drug dealer known as Freeway Ricky Ross was in the middle of it. Prosecutors called Ross the Walmart of crack. He made millions in the early 80s dealing to Los Angeles street gangs. Police say he was among the first to take expensive cocaine powder and cook it into low-cost, highly addictive crack, then distribute it through the gangs. Webb says Freeway Ricky helped trigger an epidemic of human misery.
It's destroyed our community. All the black men are in prison, most of us.
Rick Ross is now serving a life sentence for cocaine distribution.
The women are still strung on the drugs, kids without fathers, without mothers.
And honestly, how much responsibility do you have for that?
A lot. A lot of it was my fault. I played the game.
the ratio of gangbangers to civilians was minuscule in the early 70s and early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, okay? Right after NWA, now I've been in the club business all this time, and I stopped making records. Went back to my second career, which is nightclub owner. What happened was NWA and gangster rap made gangster lifestyle cool. So the ratio started to change. Everybody was a gangbanger. It used to be 5% gangbanger. Everybody became a gangbanger. So now you got 95% gangsters, or 90% gangsters, and 10% civilians. And when that happened, everything went crazy, because now theaters, clubs, parking lots, the park, everything is a war zone.
I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the First Amendment. And there is nothing that Ruthless or any other company like us does that we shouldn't be doing.
Ruthless Records was one of the first labels devoted to gangster rap and was the home of NWA, whose success was made possible by the label's independence.
When I heard Boys in the Hood, I just felt it was the most important music that I had heard in many, many years, since the beginning of rock and roll.
Jerry Heller had spent his career representing pop groups like Styx and Journey, but he was fascinated by NWA's foul-mouthed street sensibility. Convinced he had found a diamond in the rough, Heller says he left his other clients and helped Eazy-E start up a label they called Ruthless Records.
Nobody that I took the records to for the first 9 or 10 months ever thought that this would get any airplay.
Ultimately, Heller persuaded Priority Records to distribute NWA's first LP, Straight Outta Compton.
And was Jerry Heller involved at that point also?
Yes. He was,
Okay,
but what a lot of people don't know is, like, we came in a transition point of Ruthless Records, because Eazy-E had fired Jerry Heller, you know, and he started bringing all new people in, you know, and this is right before he got sick and passed away. He had fired Jerry Heller, and he brought all new people in to run his company, because I guess he found out it was some underhanded, shady business going on up under his nose that he didn't know about. We were even there, the same secretary that had Eazy call us back. We went to the office one day to pick up some money, and, you know, she was like, y'all wait right here, because Jerry is not so happy in the office right now. You know, and she was like, y'all just wait right here, because you know Eazy just fired him. Right. And we was like, damn. So yeah, it was going down. It was
Allegedly died of AIDS.
Well, no, he did. I think
he died of AIDS.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Allegedly.
You think it was something else?
This might be alleged.
Yeah.
The way he picked the but I ain't getting into that right now, Jay. I got my own theories, you know what I mean?
Me too.
But
What? I've never heard these theories before. I thought it was just, well,
I mean, it was crazy though, because we was hearing like
it happened kind of fast, didn't it?
I was kind of thinking, like, who the doctors did he go to? I think it was Jerry Heller's doctors that he went to, and he had just got fired. So I'm like, I don't know, but this don't even look, you
conspiracy.
know. You know
And then
what I mean?
it's like you know, like you could. You know, we all seen people with full-blown AIDS, and when they're about to die, you know, they look like they have it and they're about to die. Now, you can have HIV and you can still look healthy, you know what I'm saying? But,
and you don't even know you have it.
Right. Dude had full-blown AIDS, and he looked like he
regular.
He was like, still had his weight, still cocky, still looking like a regular dude, and it just came about all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was wrestling with Big Wish, you know what I'm saying, like going at it with Big Wish. So the dude was strong, cocky, man, really built like a little tank, you know what I mean? So you know, it's just theories, you know.
Did you read Jerry Heller's biography that he wrote, or autobiography?
Playing the game. Y'all niggas starve. Living real large, playing the game. Y'all niggas starve. Got it going on. Wish we were there. Wish we were there. Breaking all the rules. When niggas try to play fair. Ain't nothing fair in this game of life. You gotta get yours before you lose your life. The game is designed for them to win. You think I'm lying? Visit the pen. They already got a number reserved for your life. Don't be a fool and join their class. They want you to enroll in their institution so they can pimp you with their new form of prostitution. Wake up, my niggas, and hear me clear. Don't be a slave to this game called fear. You got a mind, you gotta use it. Because if you don't, they will abuse it. Don't be a victim to their game. Learn the rules, my niggas, and do the same. There's a lot more money on that other side. And my niggas, you don't have to run and you don't have to hide.
I believe that what they've done is they've taken hip-hop and they've made it glorious to be a drug dealer. You know, when I sold drugs, I hid. I didn't want anybody to know I sold drugs. But now they got these guys who've never sold drugs, technically. You know, one guy was a correctional officer who goes by the name of Rick Ross now. He took my whole identity, and the court said that he could do it. That he could prance around the country and say that he's me and take my whole life and use it. And there was nothing I could do about it. I can't stop him. Now, they take these guys, and these guys say, well, I got to the position that I'm in right now today by selling drugs. So the message that it tells our kids is that if you go out, you sell drugs, then you can become a great rock star like myself and never go to prison. And I think that that's a false message to be given people who feel hopeless. The way they're doing it now, they're saying it's just art form. It's just a form of art. And I believe that it's sucking in our kids and get your lights cut off at 7 o'clock at night. Told when to get up in the morning, when to go to bed, and how to live your life.
It makes me sick.
And they're going to give you a job. Oh, you can't get a job on the street? Oh, well, they got a job for you in prison. It's called Unicorp. And you're going to make money, prison money, 25 cents an hour. And the job that you're going to be doing, skillful job. Because people on the street, well, they get $35 an hour to do that same job. But we're only going to give you 25 cents. But that's all you need. Because we're going to feed you, house you, we wash your clothes for you. You have nothing to worry about in here. So they got what they call now, I just spoke at a conference in San Francisco. They call it from Head Start to the prison pipeline. So they say they can tell right now. They got people that say they can tell right now a kid that's in kindergarten if he's going to prison. You care about others. Because when you don't care about other people, then I believe that you're the worst. And a lot of people that's in power right now, they don't care about anything but your dollars. Well, I tried to reach out to everybody in hip-hop about us coming together and changing this culture and so forth. Nobody would touch me. Did have a meeting with Dr. Dre and brought up the subject, and I was cut off.
It glorifies violence.
drugs, the culture of drugs, the culture of guns and rape.
Tucker uncovered a trail which led from Death Row, the biggest name in gangster rap, to one of the largest corporations in America, Time Warner. Time Warner held a 50% share in a company called Interscope Records, and Interscope were the financial backers and distributors of Death Row.
We decided that until the industry hurt us, we would buy stock and go to the stockholders meeting. And so since Time Warner was the one that was the parent body that was selling this music, we approached their board meeting, and many of their board members were shocked. They didn't even know that they were engaged in gangster rap till I told them about it. Never let anybody denigrate you with these stereotypical images that you've fought for years to get rid of. And now you're going to have children come back and use the term nigger, use the name us, that when we are super women, what we had to do to raise those children and what we've had to go through in our struggle.
The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. And it says here that this anonymous letter landed in my inbox a few minutes ago. Hello. For more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I've struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public, as I was reluctant to implicate individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 1980s and early 90s, I was what you would call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 1980s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was difficult back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had means to influence them any way it wanted. This may explain why in early 1991 I was invited to a closed-door meeting with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices I've ever seen. The meeting was held in a private residence in the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they did not seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued and in some cases disturbed many of us. The agreement was only one page long, but very clear on the matter and consequences, which stated violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. Few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues, who will remain nameless like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to the man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but this was never confirmed. He briefly praised us for the success we had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of the group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable with the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry that would become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looked at each other in confusion. At the time, I did not know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told that the prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government would pay these prisons. It was made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they are publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now their interest to make sure these prisons remained filled. Our job was to help make this happen by marketing music which promotes criminal behavior, rap music being of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we'd be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons. Immediate silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure that I wasn't dreaming and saw half the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this an effing joke?" At this point, things became chaotic. Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled a gun and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague who had opened the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences about speaking publicly with those or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why I was involved with something so corrupt, and he said it was bigger than the music business and nothing we'd want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as he walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said, "It's out of my hands now. Remember, you signed the agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove off. A million things were going through my mind as I drove away, and I eventually decided to pull over and park on the side of the street in order to collect my thoughts. I replayed everything in my mind repeatedly, and it seemed very surreal to me. I was angry at myself for not having taken a more active role in questioning what had been presented to us. I'd like to believe the shock of it all is what suspended my better nature. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to calm myself enough to make it home. I didn't talk to call anyone that night. The next day, back at the office, I was visibly out of it, but blamed it on being under the weather. No one else in my department had been invited to the meeting. I felt a sense of guilt for not being able to share what I had witnessed. I thought about contacting the three others who were kicked out of the house, but I didn't remember their names and thought tracking them down would probably bring unwanted attention. I considered speaking out publicly at the risk of losing my job, but I realized I'd probably be jeopardizing more than my job, and I wasn't willing to risk anything happening to my family. I thought about those men with the guns and wondered who were they. I had been told they were bigger, this was bigger than the music business, and all I could do was let my imagination run free. There were no answers and no one I could talk to. I tried to do a little bit of research on private prisons, but didn't uncover anything about the music business's involvement. However, the information I did find confirmed how dangerous this prison business really is. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Eventually, it was as if the meeting had never taken place. It all seemed surreal. I became more reclusive and stopped going to any industry events unless professionally obligated to. On 2 occasions, I found myself attending the same function as my former colleague. Both times, our eyes met, but nothing more was exchanged. As the months passed on, rap music definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it, but I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspected that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order had been given to all major executives. The music was climbing the charts and most companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line. Everyone bought into it, consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme of most rap music. I spoke to my fellow peers in the industry to get their opinion on the new trend and was told repeatedly that it was about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them expressed that the music reinforced their prejudices of minorities. I officially quit the music business in 1993, but my heart had already left months earlier. I broke ties with the majority of my peers and removed myself from this thing I once loved. I took some time off, returned to Europe for a few years, settled out of state, and lived a quiet life away from the world of entertainment. As the years passed, I managed to keep my secret, fearful of sharing it with the wrong person, but also a little ashamed of not having had the balls to blow the whistle. But as rap got worse, my guilt grew. Fortunately, in the late 1990s, having the internet as a resource which wasn't at my disposal in the early days made it easier for me to investigate what is now labeled the prison industrial complex. Now that I have a greater understanding of how the private prisons operate, things make much more sense than they ever have. I see how the criminalization of rap music plays a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors which often lead to incarceration. 20 years of guilt is a heavy load, but the least I can do now is share my story, hoping that fans of rap music realize that they have been used for the past 2 decades. Although I plan on remaining anonymous for obvious reasons, my goal is to get this information out to as many people as possible. Please help me spread my word. Hopefully others who attended the meeting back in 1991 will be inspired by this to tell their own stories. Most importantly, if only one life is touched by my story, I pray it makes the weight of my guilt more tolerable. Thank you.
And then, of course, the 90s came in, and there was too much consciousness going on in hip-hop at that time for the powers that be. So here comes gangster rap. All right, take off the medallions, you know what I mean? Stop all that peace and unity, and let's do some hoes and cocaine and gangbang. At a time, if you were a conscious rapper, you couldn't even get a record deal anymore because hip-hop wasn't going that way no more. And that's directly from that gangster rap era, that gangster rap mentality, and the people who were in charge of hip hop at that time. They totally deaded the cultural side of hip hop. I mean, everything De La Soul, done. Tribe Called Quest, done. I mean, all that, done. I mean, yeah, it's still stuck around, it permeated, but they changed the whole landscape of the entire music. NWA, I thought they were great for what they were doing. But I felt there was a definite detriment to our people, the message they were giving out. You know what I mean? The music was groundbreaking and extraordinary, amazing. You know what I mean? But I wasn't, and I was out there at the time. I know them, I'm familiar with them. We had a club out in LA, Zulu Nation, had a club, West Coast, Eazy-E's to come in, Ice Cube, all them cats used to be around. And we all cool, it's all peace and love. But I'm saying, it's not even the artists so much, it's the music industry itself that kind of drove that shit. And they just recruited people to do what they needed to do. It was a different conversation than I'ma shoot you in your face. It was a different conversation than I got 5 bad kilos of this and that, any nigga, I'm shooting your kneecaps off, I'm shooting your daughter in the calf muscle and shit like that. It wasn't that kind of conversation. It was like, hey, I'm good too, I'm strapped too. Yeah. You know what I mean? You got yours, I got mine too. Ain't nobody running over nobody here. That was his conversation, but later on it became, yo, I'm gonna shoot this nigga and kill police and all that. It wasn't that extreme.
So that bothered you?
Okay, yeah, that bothered me, definitely. I knew it wasn't good for hip hop. You know what I mean? It might be good for rap music. You know, crack was out back then, and they were trying to sell more crack. So and use the music industry to help do that too, and to permeate that throughout our society and our culture.
What up, y'all? It is Devin with Up TV, and yes, I'm finally about to give y'all the truth about Jay-Z and his new album 444. I wanted to make sure I actually listened to the album a few times before I came to any conclusions about this album, and I hate to say it, but nothing has changed with Jay-Z since '96 when he came out with the album Reasonable Doubt. He is just as satanic as he's always been, and this album is no exception. Now, before I get deep into what I think about 444, let me just give y'all a little background info about the Carters. We're gonna speak on their legacy. Now, understand, Jay-Z sold his soul before Tupac died. I don't know how many times I said this, but go back and listen to his song The Evils or Devils. If you never heard it before, go check it out. He took a direct sample from Snoop Dogg's Murder Was the Case, in which Snoop admitted he sold his soul, but he also used Prodigy's bars, which helped tell Jay-Z's story, and this is his sellout story. The chorus is, "Dear God, I wonder can you save me? Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Dear God, I wonder can you save me? Secret society trying to keep their eye on me." In the first verse of this song, Jay-Z says, "This wicked in these mean streets. None of my friends speak. We all trying to win. But then again, maybe it's for the best though. Cause when they're saying too much, you know they're trying to get you touched." Now, you could take these lines and say that he's referring to somebody snitching by saying too much, but when I read these lines, I feel like he's referring to Tupac and Death Row. Understand, at this time, Pac wasn't cool with Snoop or Dre. Everybody from Death Row went their own separate ways, and Pac was saying too much about the Illuminati with his whole Illuminati movement he was starting. So he was calling out everybody. He called out Biggie, he called Biggie the Notorious P.I.G. Jay-Z was Gay-Z. He was getting at everybody. So they got him touched. They had Pac killed.
I told you you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man. I told you you can't trust these niggas. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Now continuing on, he says, whoever said illegal was the easy way out couldn't understand the mechanics and the workers of the underworld. Granted. Now, when you think of the underworld, what do you think of? I know in my mind, I instantly think of the devil or Hades. Before you try to go deep in this game, you better understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted. What does he mean when he says granted? He says that because in order to be a part of the underworld and make millions and live a life as a superstar, you have to be granted that by the devil by selling your soul.
What's up right now? Hollywood used for spells, or Holly Tree used for spells. The sorcerers and witchcraft, people who did witchcraft would take Hollywood specifically from the Holly Tree and use it to manifest or conjure spirits in order to aid them for things that they want in this world. Specifically, material gain was one of the things that were being ritual and manifested. So these entities, in return for helping these people, Masons, Illuminati, and all of these crazy ass white people who do the shit do, these entities would bargain you. They would want to host you because they don't have a physical body. So, or like I broke down in one of my videos, when you sell your soul, selling your soul is two things: just going against your righteousness and doing something that you know is wrong. But for two, selling your soul is allowing a external entity to inhabit you while you are in your physical life, and basically you take a back seat while in your own body. Now, why is this important? Because this is what demons or negative entities bargain you for. This is the deal. This is where selling your soul comes in. So a lot of people in Hollywood had to do three things. If you're a female, you gotta basically get a train ran on you, and you gotta just get violated, straight like that. If you're a man, depending on the type of man, they're gonna come at you different. So like if you're a gangster rapper, you're somebody like Young Jeezy, they're not really gonna ask you nothing gay because they know you're not gonna do it. So they might tell you to sacrifice somebody you love. Or outside of that, if you're a man, they're either gonna tell you to have sex with a kid, sacrifice somebody you love, or do something homosexual, because they know that these three things are direct covenants of the universe. This is why the homosexual flags, the chakras upside down, because being a homosexual or committing acts that you don't know reverse your spiritual frequency and put you on a demonic plane. And when you do something that you know is wrong, it eats at you. And once you manifest that negative energy, now that entity can feed off that. Because like I broke down in my spirit diet video, certain entities feed off certain emotions, just like you eat certain foods for certain flavors. So if you're feeling sad and depressed and regretful, that's a flavor for a food of an entity that eats off that. Now, when we deal with why would you have to have sex with a child, or anal sex, or why would a man have to have anal sex with you, you have to understand the science behind that as well. It's not just to degrade you. There is something called vago-vasal that goes on. Vago, V-A-G-O, vasal, V-A-S-A-L. There's a process called vago-vasal when you have anal sex with a child. What this is the pain from the child basically at his anus, tailbone, shoots up. There's an electrical surge that shoots up the spine, and it explodes in the brain, and it actually causes the brain to split and give the child a separate personality. And this is why kids who get molested tend to always be zoned out or out of this world. Because the vago-vasal is basically the effect of getting anally raped, and the pain from that penetrating the anus shoots up the spine and explodes the brain and splits it in two paradigms. So now why is it important? Because the extra paradigm is what the entity uses to inhabit and to control you. And now you see my Nicki Minaj, she got about 4, 5, 8 paradigms. She's Martha, Roman, all these different characters, because she's going through the vago-vasal process. She keeps splitting the paradigm of her mind so that entities can inhabit her. Now also, we have to understand that the anus is what? Direct entry to the bloodstream. This is why, I don't know if you never did it before, but a lot of people, I've seen the underworld, I know the crazy things people do. People who pop pills, put the pill right in the girl butt, because it gets them high immediately. Excuse my language, it is what it is. Why? Because it goes directly to the bloodstream. So if you was to sip a teaspoon of alcohol in your mouth, you will be alright, because it has to go down and get digested and broke it down and then distributed to the bloodstream. If I put a teaspoon of alcohol in your butt or liquor in your butt, you damn near gonna die, because it's too much going right to the bloodstream. So we understand that the anus is a direct entrance to the blood. Now why is this important? Because your semen rhymes with what? Demon. This is not by coincidence. Your semen carries an entity. But the Caucasian has perverted this. He has perverted our science of sperm to semen. The entity that's being channeled through whoever you are having sex with transfers to you. So if I'm somebody who just did an evil ass demonic Illuminati ritual, or I'm a shape-shifting reptilian myself and I butt rape you, then I just transfer my spirit into you. Let alone it's an anal rape. So the vago-vasal process takes place. I split the paradigm, and now I can really latch onto your soul. So what we have to understand is Hollywood is the home of these who do like this. You have to understand, everybody that you see on TV, all of these motherfuckers is hybrids, clones, or shapeshifters. Don't believe it or not, it is what it is. So we have to understand that Hollywood, once again, the Hollywood from a tree was used to cast spells. Media, television, all that shit is casting spells on your mind. And just to even get initiated or accepted into Hollywood, you have to go through one of the 3 rituals. It's not no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the reason that they kill celebrities is because when you accept their sector or their oath of silence, you give them permission to slay you for dishonoring your oath. It's just like in the streets. Nigga, we selling drugs, we hustling. You said you wasn't gonna snitch. You take the stand on us and snitch, we gon' murk you, nigga. Why? Because you accepted the code of the streets by doing something criminal. But an everyday citizen can call the police on you. You're not gonna go kill them for snitching because they're not from your hood. They have not accepted the hood nigga oath. Same thing with Hollywood. Once you accept that oath into Hollywood, they're coming. Once you get a bank account, see, bank accounts are tracked. They have a machine in Europe called the 666. They call it the Beast. This machine can literally track anybody on planet Earth that has a bank account or a social security card. Now why is it important? Because your bank account number is attached to your social security. So, for anybody who's a citizen. So, once you hit a certain amount of money, that machine in Europe, because remember all this shit is owned by Europe, automatically alerts these high-ranking secret society niggas that you have a whole fucking money. So why is this important? Because now they come for you. Because when you got money, you got the power to change in their matrix, in their world. Even though we know money has no value, and I hope all black people wake up and we just turn our back on money, period. But until then, people are using money, so you gotta play it. So with that being said, if you once they say, oh, 10 million, no, nigga, you about to get down with the program. Either you are going to continue to do certain things, or nigga, you getting shut the up. You'll never be on TV again. This is why you got rappers like D-Block or the Locks, and they never left the streets. But we all can agree that them niggas is hotter than anybody that you listen to today. Why they never went platinum? Why they never got a record deal? Because they didn't want to get down with the get down. Now, the point I'm trying to make is you have to understand that Hollywood is the home of spiritual and mental demonic dominion on the planet Earth. Switzerland, Russia, all of that shit is where they're in more colder areas are where they're stashed and doing technology that they don't got no business doing, like the CERN machine and like that. Anywhere where it's cold, Alaska or Russia, where you just can't immediately go, that's where they stash shit and create shit. Cause they know niggas ain't about to be walking way to no 10,000 mile mountain, snow everywhere to be nosy. You're not gonna do that. And then they use Hollywood because that's the most negative frequency. So they bring the entities in through this frequency and they use you as a host.
9 to 5 is how you survive. This is what Jay-Z says. I ain't trying to survive. I'm trying to live it to the limit and love it a lot. I mean, think about that. Sounds like he's willing to do anything. Anything. Life ills poison my body. I used to say my skills. I never pray to God. I pray to God-y. That's right, it's wicked. That's life, I live it. Ain't asking for forgiveness of my sins. Wow. You pray to God? I mean, you pray to God-y? You never pray to God? You know what I'm saying? He says, that's right, it's wicked. That's life, I live it. Just to confirm that he meant what he said to y'all. Now, these is Jay-Z's own words. If you think Jay-Z is spiritually right, then something is wrong with you. I don't feel right even repeating these words because I love my Lord and Savior and never want to shame or undermine his power and authority in any way. But anyways, fast forward, Jay-Z comes out with H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy. This is when he declares himself to be God. That's why he calls himself Jehovah, like the name of God, Jehovah. He even confirms this on his Blueprint album when he does the song Takeover, which was a diss to Nas. He makes it clear that he feels he is God when he says, and I quote, God MC me Jehovah. His album titled The Black Album is a tell-all album, even having a song on the album called Lucifer, and everybody who knows Jay-Z, even if they like him, know that this is an extremely satanic song.
I feel like, Sinatra, in my time, modern day Sinatra, so, I try to live up to that, I get possessed by the spirits.
Both Carters, Jay-Z and Beyonce, have admitted to being possessed. In Beyonce, we actually got to see the possession take place during her Super Bowl halftime performance.
To see this satanic witch's face change as these legion of demons manifest in her face and in her eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it along slowly. You'll see the evil, demonic expressions in her face, as well as her eyes change pitch black, like black marbles. You'll see her tongue change. Her tongue is going to be filled with a tremendous amount of veins. Pay close attention. You're going to see her eyes change to pitch black. You're going to see her facial features change. Look at her neck. It's going to look like something is coming out of her neck or coming into her neck. It's very, very satanic and very disgusting looking. It's so quick, she's morphing. Her tongue, if you can see her tongue now, her tongue has changed and it has a tremendous amount. It looks like veins or different type of lines running through it. I truly believe, as the Lord said in the word, that he's going to put enmity between the seed of Satan and the seed of the woman. And then in Revelation, it talks about the dragon attacking the woman that birthed the child. I believe we're talking about the wheat and the tares. There is a satanic, reptilian, a serpent bloodline. You can see her tongue change and then change back. You can see her eyes turn pitch black. Can you see that, folks? Beyonce has officially left the building. You're going to see a very evil and sinister look come on her face as that entity has now. You can see the hate in the eyes of this demonic entity. Folks, this is not a joke. Millions of children, millions of young girls worship and idolize this demonic satanic witch. She is nothing more than a child molester, as all Satanists are. She's a child murderer. Her music is to destroy the souls of as many people as she can. And there are so-called Christians that allow their daughters, their sons, to listen to this music. This music is from the pits of hell.
When Jay released his album Magna Carta Holy Grail, it was no different. This album was very satanic. In one song called Crown, Jay says, "If I was God, fuck I'm supposed to say no?" In another song, Heaven, he says, "Arm, leg, arm, head, this is God body." For those that don't know, arm, leg, arm, head is Allah. That's what it spells. Knowledge, wisdom, freedom, understanding. We just want our equality. Food, clothing, shelter, help a nigga find some peace. Happiness for a gangster. Ain't no love in these streets. Conspiracy theorists screaming Illuminati. They can't believe this much skill is in a human body. I'ma keep it real. Don't go listen to this song without the armor of Christ on you, because this song will make you question your spiritual beliefs. I believe you shouldn't stay closed-minded. I think that you should be open-minded. I personally have studied many major religions, but the truth is, I believe personally that the truth is found in the Bible. Believe that. The song is dark in nature, and understand these demonic forces ain't nothing to play with at all. So just a heads up and warning, this song is evil. Just like the song he did on his album with Kanye called Watch the Throne. The song No Church in the Wild again attacks religious people, with Frank Ocean on the chorus saying, and I quote, "Human beings in a mob. What's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything?" This is atheism. And he creates songs to confuse and mislead the youth to believe there is no God. Everybody has seen the shirt Jay-Z with the quote saying, "Do what thy will." This was written by Aleister Crowley, the creator of the Satanic Church.
Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law is an ethical code that has seeped into our culture, infiltrating Hollywood circles and spanning to the highest tiers of our power structure. It's known as the Law of Thelema, found in the writings of Aleister Crowley. And while some have labeled Crowley the wickedest man in the world, others have affectionately dubbed him the most notorious occult magician of the 20th century. So who was Crowley, and does he really deserve the title of the wickedest man in the world? Or was he just a spoiled rich pervert with nothing else to do? Well, hopefully at the end of this 5-minute video, you'll be able to tell me. Aleister Crowley's real name is Edward Alexander Crowley, and he grew up in England with evangelical Christian parents, even attending a Christian boarding school growing up. Crowley's life did a 180 when his father died of cancer. His father's death marks the start of Crowley's dysfunction, accented by a growing hatred of his mother and the church, which spiraled into destructive behavior, drug abuse, and an obsession with sex. From the diaries of Aleister Crowley, he recalled this period of his life and his resentment of the church as this: "I wanted sin, a supreme spiritual sin, but hadn't the slightest idea how to go about it." So Crowley separated himself from his pious start, publishing his erotic and lewd poetry while at Cambridge, documenting his rapidly growing obsession with promiscuity. There at Cambridge, his interest in magic, secret societies, and the occult ignited, and thus his desire to become a black magician manifested, which became the driving force propelling him throughout the rest of his life. The Golden Dawn, a secret society of literary and other notable figures, wasn't enough for Crowley. He craved a darker variety of magic, and practicing dangerous rituals with risks of setting loose evil spirits sort of satiated his hunger. But he wanted more sin, more power, at whatever cost. Crowley joined covens but never stayed in them due to his lack of respect for the practices of the coven, as well as his homosexual inclinations. He also became a high-ranking Freemason, holding membership at several lodges and gaining several Masonic degrees. On his honeymoon, Crowley and his wife visited Egypt. His wife was said to have encountered a deity or a spirit or a demon on their honeymoon during a ritual they did. When Crowley prompted her to reveal what spirit she encountered, she showed him an exhibit at a museum in Cairo. The exhibit's number? 666, the number of the beast in the Book of Revelation. And despite his well-published and documented dabbling, or really submersion into the occult, he was hired by British intelligence as an agent. He even played a major role in the plot to overthrow the government of Spain. Crowley's use of drugs is noteworthy, not only his self-medicating, but also his drugging of others. Unbeknownst to them, he would invite individuals over for dinner, drug them, and document their behavior. Crowley's role in World War II involved propaganda. He became the editor of a pro-German magazine called The Fatherland, pitched ideas to help the Allies, and dropped occult pamphlets to the German countryside, which painted the German leadership as satanic. Thus, his prowess in propaganda might explain why his practices and teachings are still in vogue today. An emphasis of Crowley's teachings is sex magic, which is really part of a formula and rituals that make use of sex itself as an integral element. Crowley identified sex as the most powerful force in life, and the supreme source of magical power. Now that we have all the facts laid out, let us discuss some of the theories surrounding Crowley and his impact on the world. Crowley was recognized by the BBC as the 73rd greatest Briton of all time. Perhaps one of the most intriguing theories surrounding Crowley is the theory that he is Barbara Bush's father, making him George W. Bush's grandfather, meaning that Barbara Bush was a product of sex magic and occult blood exists within our United States presidents. Another theory is Aleister Crowley's connection to the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. And beyond that, Nathan Crowley, an admitted cousin of Aleister, was the set designer for Dark Knight Rises, which featured the name Sandy Hook in the film before the event even took place. So was Aleister Crowley overhyped? Are we giving him too much credit? Was he really the wickedest man in the world? Despite his depravity, despite whatever he dabbled in, despite his practices, he was still in the inner circle, and they accepted him with open arms, kind of like they do today. Let me know your thoughts below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing.
He wrote that when you once had a miscarriage, you showed him the fetus in the jar.
Now, really,
we
the truth
touched
is,
on it before, but we
Paolo
didn't
put
elaborate.
it in a jar.
What?
Jay-Z has turned Beyonce into Sasha Fierce. Before Jay-Z, Beyonce was a Christian. She had a totally different image, but Jay-Z is responsible for her going satanic. Now, here we are at his 13th studio solo album. 13 is a big Illuminati number. It represents the original 13 families who colonized to the US. It's embedded in so many of their logos like McDonald's, Baskin Robbins, and even JC's Penney's logo. The list goes on. Friday the 13th, the 13 steps on the Illuminati pyramid found on every dollar bill. The eagle on the dollar bill has 13 stripes, 13 stars, 13 leaves on the olive branch, and 13 arrows, and even some modern day elevators don't have a 13th floor. Jay-Z is an Illuminati Satanist and is selling an album that he calls 444, which actually means 666. Sounds crazy, I know, but remember, Lucifer masquerades himself around as an angel of light. Why would a Satanist like Jay-Z use such an angelic number for his 13th Illuminati album title? Lucifer is the light bearer. In fact, Illuminati itself means the enlightened ones. The truth is, they only bear a false light. On the Black album, Jay-Z had a popular song called 99 Problems. You can clearly see on the album that it is the track number 9. When you flip it upside down, you have 666. Still not convinced? Okay, on the same album, he had a track called Lucifer, which was produced by Kanye West, that he speaks a lot of unholy wickedness this entire song. Go listen for yourself. I can't make this. Okay, still not convinced? That same song remixed on the Linkin Park's album said 666 backwards, murder, murder, Jesus. I can't make this up. After fully analyzing this album for a majority of the album, Jay took a very subtle approach to this album and the symbolism behind it. The reason for this is because the devil always must still convince people that they are good people. We're given our heroes by the powers that be. Jay-Z was chosen as a leader, our hero, to misguide blacks and lead them to hell. So his image is as one who is pro-black. That is why Beyonce was pro-black at the Super Bowl. Jay-Z did the song My President is Black with Young Jeezy and was best friends with Obama. And we know the truth about him. He's definitely a part of the Illuminati and have direct relation to almost every other president. So his song and single for the album Story of OJ was pro-black. But Jay exposes himself in this album on the track called Bam with Damon Marley. Jay-Z says, "All this pretty Sean Carter nigga, Hove. Sean was on that gospel. I was on the total opposite." Wait, now hold on, y'all. Hold up. What the you mean? He's saying him, the person, Sean Carter, was a good person who loved the Lord, who loved the gospel, and the entity that possesses him, who calls himself Hove, was the complete opposite. If you don't worship God, you worship Lucifer. Hove represents Satan. So when he said, "Oh, we gonna reach a Billy first," I told my wife the spiritual really worked. Alhamdulillah, I run through them all. He wasn't talking about the one true Jehovah or Allah, whatever you call him. He's talking about Satan, that the spiritual talking about is the Illuminati rituals. Listen to their music, see them in concert. Alhamdulillah means praise be to God, but his God ain't your God. His God is Satan. Also, take note that this album will have 13 songs, but so far only 10 have been released. I'm eager to hear what Jay has to say on the last song, the 13th song, but already the title looks satanic in nature. It will be called Many-Faced God. Just do a Google search on this. Here's what I found. The Many-Faced God, alternatively known as the God of Death, is a deity worshipped by the mysterious cult of assassins known as the Faceless Man, who are headquartered in the free city of Bravos, and they believe that through their assassinations they do his work. If you've seen Game of Thrones, then you know about the many-faced God. But again, that's not our God. That is Lucifer himself. So what do y'all think? Is this real or fake? Is Jay-Z using subliminal messages, or are we just reading into this too much? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a blessed day, Up TV family, and I'll holla at y'all later. Peace. Thank you for watching Up TV. If you like this video and would love to see more, check out these great videos here, and don't forget to subscribe to Up TV and Up TV 2 for even more great videos.
3-6 Mafia came out, basically the first rap group to talk about the devil, essentially. 3-6, 666 is, you know, the mark of the beast, right?
Right.
Now, you fast forward 2021, and the gay rapper Lil Nas X makes a music video where he actually goes to hell, and he gives Satan a lap dance. And then he put out some shoes with a pentagram on it with human blood in it and all that type of stuff. So you being a 3-6 Mafia guy that's dealt with all that type of satanic type imagery and so forth, what do you think about that video and what he's doing?
Hey, man, the devil, when I met him, and I hate to say I met him, but when I met him, it wasn't what Nas showed us. It was the illusion, or the I would say illusion of he was a friend more than he was that dude that Nas showed us. You get what I'm saying? The devil would come in my business partner form, or come in your form. He would never come in his raw form to a person, period. You get what I'm saying? He always gonna come looking like somebody else, talking like somebody else, acting like somebody else. For Nas to do that, I don't know, Paul, let me shut up. Paul might don't want me saying this. Let me shut up. Let me just shut up. I don't know. This devil shit. I mean, we did that shit. You know what I'm saying? We did that for real. Ain't no way you gonna be able to say 666 Mafia, 666, or none of that shit without actually meeting the man. You get what I'm saying? And we can act like we haven't all our lives. And I'm gonna be the bullshit and tell y'all the truth. Ain't no way in hell the devil came the way Nas said, and it worked that way. It's only gonna work the way that he feel like it need to work. I believe in the Lord a lot. I'm rolling with the Lord. I am one of the Lord's workers. But I also was able to walk in the devil's den without selling my soul. Y'all know I got shot in Vegas. I was in the room that Tupac died in. So that means that I probably need to have been dead. But just because I believe in the Lord more than I believe in the devil, I'm just saying he was all wrong. He was all wrong. Stop searching for something that you really don't want to be in. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to talk. No, what you finna say?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I'm not going to say nothing about the way he really is. Because, everybody got their own choice. But stop searching for something that you really don't want to be.
I noticed that these in the industry, ain't no love in the industry. Like, you can really buy these loyalty. And I took an oath when I was 16. And loyalty means so much to me. And loyalty should mean so much to anybody. Because let's say if the devil comes to you, right? And so I'll give you $100 million. But I want you to turn your back on God. Would you turn your back on God?
About fame, and one thing about when you have money, you don't really know people have evil intentions around you, like evil intentions. That's why I just been dealing with things, but it's just like things are getting better, and I'm just glad that I'm eliminating them from my life now, and I'm getting my business and my work together.
Do you feel that you're happier right now than when you were broke, or not really?
Sometimes. It's a sometime thing. Like, it makes me happy. It makes me happy that I'm able to afford what I want, and it makes me happy that I get to treat my family. But I feel like the way that I have money kind of took away a lot of my happiness.
Cardi B, the reigning queen of hip-hop, has just dropped a bombshell confession that has sent shockwaves through the music industry. According to Cardi, she sold her soul for a whopping $100 million. She also admitted to making a deal with the devil himself in exchange for her fame and fortune. Could this be true? And if so, what's the real story behind her success? Let's dive in and find out. Well, Cardi B's lifestyle and actions seem to support this claim. In her music videos, she often portrays herself as a provocative and sexual figure, and her lyrics often contain explicit references to money, fame, and power. She's also been known to make occult references and has even used imagery associated with the devil in her music and social media posts.
So Halloween might be weeks away, but Cardi B is already tricking and treating her fans to some glammed up costume ideas from a recent photo shoot. Last night, she took to Instagram to share a photo of herself decked out in a horned devil costume.
Recently, Cardi B posted a series of photos on her Instagram account where she was seen dressed up in a red devil outfit with horns and a long tail. She posed on a red carpet with fire in the background, and the caption read, "Single, bad, and rich. I do the controlling." Well, the photo shoot sparked rumors that she was hinting at her connection to the devil and to the Illuminati. The fact that she chose to dress up as a devil, a symbol often associated with evil and temptation, only added fuel to the fire. Not only that, it also got a range of reactions from people on social media. Some fans found the photo shoot bold, daring, and empowering, while others were more critical and skeptical.
One theory that had fans and actual theorists buzzing was Cardi's involvement in the Illuminati after posing as a horned devil.
The allusions to controlling, the winking eye, and the satanic imagery of the photo seem to set people off. They're all hallmarks of Illuminati conspiracy theories. Clearly enough, people felt that this was Cardi covertly signaling that she was part of the Illuminati, the group that some conspiracy theorists believe secretly control the world and communicate their intentions via coded imagery, and have often been linked closely with hip-hop. The theorists also believe that to become a part of this group, one had to allegedly sell their soul to Satan or demons. In return for that, the person will achieve success and fame in the human form of life. Even though these are just theories, fans seem to hold on to straws to prove that such a society exists. Some of the fans allegedly claim that Cardi B is a part of the Illuminati and has sold her soul to the devil. Cardi B sold her soul to the devil. Others also believe that she did this for money and fame, saying Cardi B sold her soul and her dignity for money and fame. Sad thing to see any woman degrade herself in such a nasty way for money. Another added, Rapper Cardi B has no brain cells. Pretty sure she's sold her soul to the devil. However, the singer, though, set the record straight to all the trolls alleging her of being an Illuminati and managed to put down the speculation once and for all. As you know, on social media platforms, Cardi B never steps back from voicing her views. The American rapper took to social media and posted another photo of herself in an angel costume, writing, "Stop with the Illuminati shit. It was just costumes for a TikTok video. Damn." She followed up in the comments, "I will never join anything. I would rather die broke. Money can't buy my faith in God." Well, it was quite a befitting reply for people that should stop the Illuminati conspiracy theories about her. On the other hand, most people were shocked when rapper Cardi B released her video for her new single, Money. While most fans supported the video, saying it solidified her as an icon, some accused the Bronx native of being in the Illuminati. Not only that, some claim that she joins the likes of Jay-Z and Beyonce, who have long been accused of being in the satanic cult.
Let's take a look at Cardi B's video here. I've covered Cardi B, right? The Freemason symbolism always there. She comes out and tries to deflect. She actually even answers people who say she's Illuminati, and she's like, "I'm not Illuminati."
Conspiracy theorists also claim the imagery in the video hinted toward being in the Illuminati, like the black and white pattern outfit she's wearing in the beginning, the design on her hands while she's playing the piano, and the trial makeup on one of the strippers. Triangles and contrasting shades like black and white are symbols that some associate with the secret society. Well, it's not the first time Cardi, whose birth name is Belcalis Almanzar, has been suspected of being in the secret society. Though some netizens are convinced, Cardi denied that she was a part of the cult, taking her stance to Instagram to set the record straight. "I don't understand how you see artists every single day, like busting their ass. I bust my every single day, every day. But y'all want to blame the success on Mother Illuminati. You wear a checkered shirt, Illuminati. Triangle, Illuminati," she said at the time. The idea behind artists allegedly being in the Illuminati is that they sold their souls to the devil. So that's why they have success, fame, and riches. But Cardi, on the other hand, revealed that's not true. She's worked hard for everything she has, thanks God regularly for her accomplishments, and would never turn her back on him. "Do you know if I spend my money tomorrow, I ain't gonna have shit, eh? Do you know if I stop doing music, if I stop working tomorrow, if I am like, I don't want to work no more, my shit will go in the garbage," she said. "Shut the F up with this shit," the rapper said at the end of her 1-minute social media video. "I pray to God every single day for me to be where I'm at. So why, if I'm at where I'm at, that's when I'm gonna stop God?" Lastly, Cardi gave a clear message. F Satan, F you, and that dumbass shit. Get out of here with that. Fans are also raging on Cardi due to her demonic songs and selling her soul to the Illuminati. One of the Twitter users wrote, "Cardi B is a demon possessed with the spirit of Lilith. Her video shows her surrounded by serpents. She has sold her soul. She's a vessel of Satan performing his lies. She'll be judged for all the young ones she has led into sin. I hope she would be saved, repent, receive Jesus." Another came along. "Cardi B proves that Satan is real because she has to have sold her soul for fame. There's no other conceivable way she could have gotten famous." But in a total contrast, Cardi recently reveals that she doesn't want to sing songs that are demonic because they are destroying her. And now she just wants to live a normal life with her daughter.
It's like these songs are activating like these demons that I killed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that girl anymore. Like I just want to be a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that old Cardi anymore. I left that lifestyle a long time ago, bro. Like, I don't want to be that anymore.
Well, we don't know what's the real reason behind Cardi B's antics, but the one thing that everyone is sure of is that the Illuminati does exist. And if you don't know about the Illuminati
is the name given to one or several groups of influential people whose goals were to oppose superstition, obscurantism, religious influence over public life, and abuses of state power.
According to the conspiracy theorists, the Illuminati also control a lot of things in the world, as they are allegedly in high and influential positions. The conspiracy theorists believe the successful musicians like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna are part of this group.
It's been heavily rumored that some top musical artists have reportedly signed contracts in their own blood, take oaths to serve the Satanic Brotherhood, and that their interviews and song lyrics explicitly admit that they have sold their soul to the devil.
Not only that, theorists also believe that one will attain success and glory in the human form of life in exchange for their souls. Well, there has been growing suspicion among some that certain recent performances have more than meets the eye. Rihanna's performance at the Super Bowl halftime show and Sam Smith's unholy performance at the Grammys have raised eyebrows and led some to believe that these influential individuals may have sold their souls to the devil. In particular, Rihanna's striking red dress, triangle sign, and provocative choreograph fueled speculation about her possible involvement with the occult. Meanwhile, Sam Smith's dramatic and unsettling performance of their song Unholy left many viewers feeling disturbed and questioning the true motivations behind their art. While some argue that these performances were simply provocative and artistic expressions, others see them as evidence of a darker, more sinister influence at work in the entertainment industry. One of the Twitter users wrote, "When Rihanna forms a triangle in the air, we will be hearing Illuminati rumors again like it's 2009. Another talk about Sam selling his soul to the devil, tweeting, "I mean, you're being too hard on him. What do you expect from him? He serves Satan. He's holding up his end of the deal." That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.